They rob houses, kill the local population and rape women. These are the so-called rescue missions of the Russian Federation. In 1994, the Kremlin army launched an offensive against the Chechen Republic of Ishkeria, justified that they say they are saving the region from mercenaries. According to the journalist Sergei Govorukhin, the Russian military killed 35,000 civilians during the 2 years of the war, and this is only among ethnic Russians. And the total number of victims of the Russian world reached 100,000. 2 years later, the Chechens managed to fight off the invaders, but the loss did not fit into the idea of greatness of the Russian Federation. In 1999, the Kremlin army went on the offensive again, this time with greater cruelty to the civilian population. For example, on February the 5th, year 2000, the Russian army carried out the so-called cleansing of the village of Novaya Aldy, and this is how a local resident described that day.
The soldiers have already left our street. I ran to my neighbor's Sugaipov yard. There laid Kaipa in a pool of blood from which steam still rose in the cold. I wanted to pick her up, but her body fell apart. A piece of the skull fell off. Probably she had a burst from a machine gun. 2 men were lying nearby in a yard. Both of them had huge holes in their heads. Apparently they were shot at point-blank range. The house was already on fire. The back rooms. In the first one, the murdered Avalo was on fire. Apparently some flammable liquid was poured on him and set on fire.
Who committed such atrocities against the civilian Chechens? Professional military? What did the Russian army look like back in the day? The answer to this was given by journalist Alexander Nevrozov in his military report.
And great Russia has boys, conscripts. The boys are really great.
And these brave soldiers were sent to kill. The tactics of the Russian army now are quite familiar to us, Ukrainians. The occupiers do not hesitate to drop bombs on hospitals and raze cities to the ground. Here is Grozny, the capital of the Chechen Republic before the war with the Russian Federation. The population was about 400,000 people. Almost 500,000 citizens lived in Mariupol before the full-scale war with the Russian Federation. And that's what the Russians did to them. Russian tactics are unchanged. For the Kremlin, genocide is a way to demoralize the country. Rockets and bombs are the only way to reach Ukrainian cities. On the ground, the Russians lack the courage to wage a fair battle against the armed forces and the people of Ukraine. Undoubtedly, this is blackmail, intimidation of both ordinary citizens and administrations or authorities on the one hand. In addition, in a way to hide military mediocrity and military weakness. As for Ukraine, the Kremlin has disregarded perhaps the most important aspect. We clearly see who our enemy is. Therefore, with every act of Russian violence, the cohesion of Ukrainians, both civilian and military, is growing stronger. According to the Kremlin departments, more than 10,000 servicemen were killed during the 2 Chechen wars. At the same time, during the months of the war in Ukraine, the Russian army has already lost more than 16,000 people. Reported by Victoria Ilchuk, Pavlo Stelmach for UATV News.